We're back. I'll restart things here. Okay. Looks good. It's got stuff going. Hey, I'm back. It's a surprise stream. Wasn't sure what I'd be doing tonight, but we're going back to 2005 today. Need to get this done. It's sorry for the lateness, but for people who aren't in the Eastern time zone, I mean, it's probably only 10 o'clock. So this one's for all you West Coast California people out there, or you, that's strange. Oh, this is the wrong one. Get this stuff out of here. Anyway, so this set of pictures. There you go. This set of pictures from 2005 represents me. Although I was not in undergrad at this point. I was visiting back in Connecticut, and I was returning for a ski trip in the Poconos. So this thing sort of catches a trip from the New Haven, Meriden, Connecticut, down to Philly. And then it jumps back up to the Poconos, where I took some time out to capture pictures of the East Stroudsburg Tower and Gravel Place. Those are DL&W towers on what is now the Delaware and Lackawanna sort of short tourist line, Alco Haven thing. So, yeah, this is just another set of photos that I would love to update I've actually gone through almost all of it. I've actually pretty much updated everything from my initial stuff from 2002, 3, 4, so I'm getting into the 5s. I probably have a few stragglers, but I'll be going through all of these. Also, I'm going to be, due to a change in living circumstances, I'm probably going to be have full access to FiOS coming up, and that's going to be able to mean more streams, pending I actually have some decent amount of content. So there we go. See? Anyway, I'm starting off at Meriden. It's middle of winter. Usually these ski trips, I would do these in the early part of February when I would get free accommodation up in the Poconos. There was someone who often had a free weekend. So, starting at Meriden. This is the once and current inland shuttle service from New Haven to Springfield. So at this point in time, I don't think they had all the cab cars in service. So sometimes, like here, they were using two P42s bracketing the train. Here we have number 102. Here. Something else on the end. Note, there's something that's going to come up both here and in a future stream project. Note your Phase 5 livery here, where you have your thin red line with a gray bottom. I can go to the Amtrak site and, Amtrak paint schemes are something that a lot of people love debating, usually modelers. But I just want to have you take note in a few photos that there's some early variation in the Phase 5s. The Phase 5 stuff that isn't necessarily apparent today or even remembered. The rear unit was number 12. These are still pretty. These are pretty new back in 2005. Back in the day, I was still suffering from that stupidity from my film era, where I was labeling New Haven photos with an incremental number. But I'm not going to continue that. So the shuttle service usually offered across the platform transfer, probably still does today. Back at the time, Shoreline East had recently acquired, I think their Miss Farah or some Spanish or Japanese stainless steel coaches. They're ones they're still using today, but they had actually purchased them from Virginia Rail Express, who I think were the original owners. And when VRE got its went to gallery car. It's interesting that there's a lot of how many things came out of VRE. I think VRE at about the same time was leasing a sounder set of those Go style bi-levels, the coffin cars. So what goes in comes out. Now here's what I wanted to mention about the that Phase 5. Notice, and I thought I was seeing things when I noticed this in a different photo. I was like, my eyes looking at this right? As I try to straighten this. Some of them, I don't know which ones, had a blue stripe. And it didn't just go that light gray, red, dark gray. You had a blue stripe, sort of as a throwback to the Phase 3s almost. I'm sure someone out there would know what that is. Phase 5A-1. Sorry, I'm just making fun of paint scheme people. Hey, look at that. AM7s. Yep, they're great. So this was actually a I don't know what the status of the rebuild program was back in. It's got to be finished by 2005. But the high ones, these are the newest ones. This is part of a batch built in 1989, and therefore they were not rebuilt. Amtrak ran out of money for its AEM7 AC program. It only did about half the fleet or so, and these were left as is. Now they did have the advantage of being about 10 years newer. 8 to 10 years newer. But they were seriously lacking for power. People don't remember that the 7 in AEM7 means diesel equivalent horsepower. Their actual continuous horsepower is only 4,300. But they did have I think it was probably an overload or starting capacity, because they were straight DC. But continuous, they're only 4,300. That's why they are often seen double heading later in their lives, and they were also just became unreliable. So here at Penn Station, I was using my my layover time, the 15-20 minutes you would get there, for some photos out, near the back. This is on track 16, which is pretty solidly in the Long Island Railroad section. Which is probably why I got out to take photos, because usually you don't find yourself in the Amfleet section. Here's what looks to be a train of M1s. The M3s have the sort of external slide window. The M1s had a roll one, but I could be wrong there. I could look at the fleet number. I guess this is 9554. This would have been across the platform on track 17. Let's see what I called this initially. Man, I did these in some sort of weird order. Huh. Okay. So track 16, as you can see, how did our train end up on track 16? That's how it ended up on track 16. There's sort of a ladder there, and unfortunately, I am not where I have my really good Penn Station diagram. That would give me switch numbers and signal numbers. I might just have to improvise a little bit. Oh, I don't even have my line numbers, like which one's line 1, line 2, that sort of thing. Maybe I do. Let's go into the archives here. Um, Never know what I might have. Come on. Here you go. Might have a New York Penn track chart somewhere in here. Everything working okay? Yeah, it looks good. This will just take a second to see if I have one or not. I should, but it might just be too much of a pain to dig it out. Got Washington Terminal. Nah, probably not going to be able to find it in time to before everybody leaves. Oh, here we go. This is actually useful. I just want to know the line numbers. That would be line 2. So I can actually name this file. You know, I was able to get a whole bunch of decent photos with my old 3 megapixel camera. You have very poor resolution, but you know, it worked out pretty well. Olympus used to make a really great product. I think they've largely ceded the space to Canon, though. I'm in the market for a new camera next year, so I mean mid-range. So we'll have to see how that goes. I probably have to like just use a lot of holding some whole. I'll have to change these names. Because I don't have my track charts here. I don't even know if I want to do this one. Because I have photos of this 561, 563 switch thing, but they're better. Often because my phone takes good shots. Phone cameras are really the best things for low light these days. I mean, most people are when they're inside and part. You know, the companies. You know, there's an advantage to optimizing for low light performance. So oftentimes, if you want like a really a good low light camera for subway or whatever use, go for the cell phone. Pixel 2, iPhone 7, 5X, they're all great. Yeah, I'd given up taking photos in Penn Station. But as soon as my new cell phone camera proved up to the task, I've started up again with a vengeance. Also, it makes you don't stand out as Mr. Camera Terrorist guy, because everybody has a cell phone camera. Oh, look at this. Oh, that's great. He's got wash mead. Oh, burn. Burn. Ouch. Make sure I note that that's in the. This one shows off the wash me a little bit better. Is that vertical? Always check your lines. You don't want tilted stuff here. Yeah. I'm just blowing through these today. Alright, let's see what's going on here. Do I actually have anybody? I got some people. I got 2 people. Might as well say hi to them. If I can find the chat. Yeah, if you have any questions, let her rip. Like I said, I am eventually getting to do some Pocono interlocking towers, but first it involves a trip down the NEC. So it looks like I'm alternatingly. You see, with only a 3x zoom, there's okay. We'll get to that in a second. First off, let me get through this stuff here. I gotta find where the towers are. There we go. There's East Stroudsburg. I did this in a weird order. Okay. Let's get this aspect ratio a little bit better. Grundy is the tower in Bristol, Pennsylvania. It was named for Joseph Grundy, who was a local businessman and responsible for a lot, had a factory, complex, and was responsible for a lot of freight traffic on the PRR. So, if you, one of the customer rewards perks was you get an interlocking named after you. Backlighting's a little bit of a problem there. Yeah, and you see, here we are. We have a CSX local freight job sitting there right outside the interlocking plant, probably right waiting to shove back. As part of an Amtrak cost cutting, Grundy was turned into a facing point ladder as opposed to a 4-track full crossover. It's mainly to give access to the Bristol yard, the local freight yard there. So how are we going to deal with this horrible red tint, which is from the back of the window? Let's see if color balance can save us today. Can it? I don't know. It's going to be tough. I have to turn it way up, all the way up, with a little bit of manual tweaking there. So that's CSX 2814. I'm not sure entirely who that is. We could probably check it out. GB38. Not surprising. He doesn't have a signal yet on his thing, so he's just probably going back and forth, shifting the yard there. This is located pretty close. I think that I was aware that North Philadelphia interlocking was something was happening there, or I'd seen that the switches looked like they had been replaced, and I was trying to confirm. Replaced as in went from pneumatic to electric. So I think I was just trying to I was sneaking a ride in the vestibule, trying to confirm stuff. That's a Silverliner 428. It looks like. Yeah, see, there you go. I can get rid of that nasty red, or can I? Probably a little too altered there. Let's dial that back a bit. There you go. That looks a little bit better. On these low resolution photos, I need to be careful not to over sharpen them, or you just get a lot of grain. That's the initial 429. Looks like that's the initial file name. That's what I'll use. Here's where we have the back of what I think is Clearfield interlocking. North Philadelphia was split into, for those of you who don't know or didn't hear me talking about this before, was split into two. Where are we? Lehigh and Clearfield. Clearfield being the other half of the ladder there. Some nice pictures. This was done pretty early on. I think in the very early 2000s or late 90s even. By the time I was really aware of it, it had already happened. Let's see if I can get rid of some of the tint, but not make it look too ugly. I'm also going to need to go in and try to figure out what the initial file names were for this. Let's see who's around. I got more people here. Come on. Come on. Alright, well, whatever. So, while Amtrak signals and switches can be calculated, it often there's a couple of you have to go check a couple things. So I'm just gonna go and I know that I saw that I had a track diagram of that. So I'm just gonna go. Oh no, it doesn't. Come on, give me the numbers. Damn it. Ugh, lame. They're a what do you call that? Who's that guy? It's a Murphy's Law situation. If you try to figure out if you try to guess what their algorithm is, you're gonna get it wrong. So I just go to a reference one. That looks like the 43 switch. Yep. Or the east end thereof. God damn it. See, this need a little bit. I don't know if it's 43A or 43B. What the fuck? Which one did I lose? 24, 25. Alright, looks like it's okay. Yeah, I don't know if I would have even kept these back in the day. They're just random interlocking shots. I probably just would have deleted them. Yeah, North Philadelphia interlocking lost a lot of its clout when all the freight service in the area dried up. And also, when the community went sort of south. So you didn't need all the handling, operate the baggage handling, separate freight bypass tracks, all that stuff you didn't need. And now barely anything stops there. See, this is before they ripped out a lot of. You had like freight. You had over here. You had freight tracks, bypass tracks. You had extra station tracks. They actually they had to go, and this is probably actually worth showing you what happened. Here we are in North Philly. This whole section right over there is what Clearfield was, which was an entire trailing point ladder. Only the 17 and 11 switches remain. Also, this whole shuffle of having station tracks and freight tracks, Amtrak just pretty much it's one island and a sidewall now. So 4 is there. Eastward Station became track 0 is the Trenton line. Eastward Station became track 1. Track 2 is there. They should have shoved that over. So this platform here served track 1, track 2 now. Then there's that removed track. Then there's 3 and 4. So here in the picture we can see there's track 1, track 2, removed track, old track 2, 3, 4. I think that removed track has been pretty well scrubbed these days, so you wouldn't even know how the old alignment was. But it was pretty neat back when it's just interesting how it worked, but it's, things that aren't there anymore. Here's another better view of how it looked back in the day. Again, I was even there just this winter, but for the life of me I can't remember if that abandoned track had been fully removed yet, or if there's still evidence of it being there. So let me just get rid of some of that tinting here a little bit. When you have again these, I must have been trying to shoot through both windows or something. I don't know. So again, just for letting you know, the way it used to go is you had 4 tracks between the platforms, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, there. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And on the far side you had East Station, and on this side on the far side here you had West Station. And then in the rationalization with Clearfield, 1, 2, gone, 3, 4, gone. So in 2005, there wasn't much left in North Philadelphia. I mean, what was left of North Philadelphia Tower was the west part. Where was this? I gotta get back to where I was here. Sorry for all the scrolling. Nope, that's 2007. Here we go. Here we go. Nope, that's not it. See, I gotta find where all these photos were. A lot of these were taken in 2015. Or, sorry, 2005. And I'm not entirely sure. See, this looks like a bad version of this. Yeah, that's the same photo. Look how horrible that is. See, I did not know what I was doing back in 2005. This is just crap. Oh, hey, look, you're right. Look at that. There's still an A5 switch machine there. I was wondering why I named it that. Cool. So when this was finally rationalized, these freight tracks were just, there's a diamond in the middle of the interlocking. Like, you don't need that. Can you imagine? Can you believe that they maintained that for all those years? Everything from pretty much like 19, whenever in the 80s, all the industry went away till 2005. They had a diamond there. Like, ka-ching. All right, there we go. Got rid of the black border. Let's see if I can get some better color balance in here. There we go. That looks a lot better. It's too much green. Let's see, just hand fiddle with it. Oopsies. I think I used some clarify filter back in the day. Yeah, see, that's what sort of desaturates it. So maybe you could just use a little bit more contrast and a little bit more saturation. There we go. That's a lot better. Probably the next photo. Here we go. So at this point, the tower would close in about 6 months at this point. Here you can see that all the new switch machines, almost all the new switch machines are in place, barring that last little one that I pointed out previously. But the new signals, oh no, some of the new signals are in place. Let's see what I called this back in 2005. Anything? Huh, I might have just deleted this one because I was stupid. Alright, so what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to go and... Which switch is that? Looks like the 39 switch, but let's see again. Yes. Yeah, it's the 39. It's probably a slow speed switch too. Looks it. See if anybody has any questions. Oops. Yeah, they did retire the parlor cars already. The last one's already happened. Yeah, here you can see the difference between a 30-mile-an-hour turnout, which at the time was the number 41 switch, and a 15, which is the 39. I mean, even look at that. It's even indicated on this diagram. Whoever made it, so this would have been between 2 and 3. I'm not sure why that would have been 30 miles an hour, and the other one would have been everything else would have been 15s. But they were probably so you could have trains run. It makes no sense. Maybe you could have had a train run reverse on 2-track between North Philly and Zoo, so locals could sneak off and serve the thing. So that's going to be 41. But this file already had a name. I'm going to use the older existing one. I don't know if they've rationalized the wire, but North Philly actually used to have what are those things? Double slips all in it. But that was a very old configuration. Like the 1940s. All right, let's see what's next. Probably only do 3 sets today, but I'll see. Tonight's it's a late night. Yep, you still have these are the old what are they? Those are the old 24L and 26L pot signals. At this point in time, compared to 1992, the number 5 freight track spur has been eliminated, turning the 23 turnout in. 23 switch into a turnout, single-sided turnout. I'm not quite sure what to do with this one here. That looks fair enough. Alright, let's see what I can do with this tint. Good old color balance usually fits the bill. There we go, perfect. Look at that. Little tinge of red there. Let's make sure it's straight. I think I got a little bit bend on that die. There we go. And pots. Now, for the record, those were pots that could display slow clear. There was a bit more, what do you call that? A lot of the tracks were like officially 250. Oh, those look like dragger detectors too. I think that between Zoo and North Philly, those tracks might have been officially bidirectional, but not in a convenient way. Bidirectional that you could get between the two without having to get train orders or whatnot, but you'd be approach slow at or on approach to North Philly. How much more would I have left if I just quit it now? This will probably be my last. I'll just do one more photo today, and I'll do 50 tomorrow instead of 48. Because this way it'll divide it into the NEC segment and the Poconos segment. So here we have still there, the ancient Marjorie Street Bridge. Incidentally, this is very close to the area of where the old Phillies played. Shibe Park, yeah, Connecticut Stadium was pretty much half a block directly left out of this frame. If you crossed this bridge and just kept walking straight, you would have gone right into the old Connecticut Stadium, which is where the Phillies used to play until they built the Vet in the 1970s. So, yeah, this cleaned up pretty nice. Yeah, it's a beautiful bridge. And just look at the. You even have train order lights on the signals. You have the old style minimalist backing. For those of you again who don't know, the PRR didn't go. So Amtrak has that full lower backing. That's like that big, just like the top, but big on the bottom. PRR never went for that when they were back in the day. It was an unnecessary expenditure because any train approaching a restricting signal or a slow approach would have been prepared to stop. So they were just, we only need one on the we don't need a backing. We only need a backing on the vertical because trains would be approaching at 30 miles an hour. Although at the time before 1956, there was no medium approach. You would diverge over an approach, so you get approach medium, approach, diverge to stop. When they started up with the horizontal over flashing slash. That's when the full head sort of became more necessary. This is the last picture I have of this. The tubular signal bridge is not in evidence at this point. For the record, that is the 40L and 42L signals right there. So I'm just going to save this guy off and probably call it a night because it's so late. Yeah, this looks a lot better than what I had back in the day. which is gross crap like that. And, oh God, that's horrible. Yeah, I was valuing the wrong kind of filter this time. Now you see what happened here. This is a slightly later photo, but they bagged the bridge signals when they put in the new gantry and only had the two high ones active on the new signal bridge. So these really wonderful looking classic signals on the Marjorie Street Bridge were sacrificed before the tower was actually cut over. Yeah, here's so yeah, I was definitely using a lot of the Clarify filter. Let's see what it makes it look like if I used it. Oh, that's not actually that bad. Let me get rid of some of this red. Try to lighten it up a bit. Yeah, yeah, that's better, I guess. A little less red. How does that look compared to my original? For the record, I was guilty of tweaking signal light intensity to create better. I would say I did it to create better photos, but the photos are still junk. Can't believe that. Yeah, this is much nicer, even though I was shooting through a tinted window. Anyway, let's see if there's any things down here. All right, anybody have any questions? So just FYI, I'm tomorrow. I hope should be on a much better time. And I'll just get into these Pocono towers. I am not a DL&W. I mean, I like the DL&W, but I do not have any technical references. So I can't. I can only talk a little bit about what I know. Both of these are still there, and you can go visit them. That poured concrete technology it's pretty damn robust. But that's really for tomorrow's conversation. So anyway, thank you guys for watching tonight. I really appreciate it. And let me see if I got any questions. Doesn't look like it. All right, this is gonna be a short one tonight. I'm gonna leave it here, and I will see everybody tomorrow. Oops.